Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, Larry W. Brooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations.
What's up, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? It's your man, Larry W. Brooks, a.k.a. the Texas Real Estate King. Hey, when you get a moment, go ahead and go over to shoplwb.com. You can see the Pure Hustle merchandise that we had over there, some of our newer items that we have in stock, and of course, I got all the books that I've authored. I'd love for your support. You have a great day.
Good day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, you can reach me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. As always, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here this week with you, hosting the show, and we have a really exciting program planned for you all today. As always, I want to invite everyone who's checking us out live on YouTube to get involved in today's show. Leave us a comment, leave us a question, and our super producer, Jay Joseph, may very well choose your question to be answered on today's show. Like I mentioned earlier, man, we're really excited about today's show, and the Texas Real Estate King and myself take great pride in bringing the best and the brightest to the Prime Real Estate Network audience every Thursday in this hour. So let me take some time to introduce my co-host. He's not only a highly successful real estate broker, a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, and the proud proprietor of the Pure Hustle clothing brand, definitely festive in the holiday spirit. I'd like to introduce the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Rick?
He's festive, baby. How you doing, man?
Look, I got it behind me and everything. What can I say, man? It's the holiday season. You know how it goes.
Hey, man, it's good to be tapped in with you, brother, man. Look, a lot's been going on. It's the holiday season, man.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little idea of where you are right now, man? Why are you so festive? Because you can just, your energy is just exuding through the screen, man. Where are you at right now, brother? What you got going on today?
What can I say, man? It's holiday season. I mean, it's holiday events. And today I'm actually over in our medical center here in the Houston area. And the Houston Association of Realtors is appreciating the people that serve on our advisory boards, committees, those that give back to the organization that believes in most definitely protecting us as realtors when it comes to our commissions, the way that we do business, and of course, protecting our clients, their tax rights, their ability to purchase and sell homes. So those are some of the advisory boards that today are here in our medical center area being appreciated. So I get to come out, celebrate, and I'm excited about it, man. Just giving a shout out to all the other organizations that are doing something today too. The Black Analysis organization here in Houston is doing something tonight at the Power Center, and that's the organization that when all of the organizations in Houston come together at one time to do an amazing toy drive. I mean, there's over 1,000 people that are in the building. So if you're in the city of Houston, that's definitely an event you should check out tonight. So just a shout out to those guys.
Oh, no doubt, man. Look, I know you at the event, man. It's super busy, man. They may call you on stage to speak, man. So I know we can't keep you that long this week, but as always, man, could you just talk a little bit about this week's guest, how we were introduced to her, and how you were able to find such a dynamic personality to sit in on the Prime Real Estate Network this week?
Definitely, man. So I had an opportunity of following Samantha on, following our guests. I gave the name away, but following our guests on social media. You know, us being a content creator myself. You know, you always like mind, iron sharpens iron, as they say, and then like-minded follows like-minded. So I came across her page and I saw the gems that she was dropping in our industry, the mortgage, the real estate, the way that her platform was growing, the content that she was putting out there. And I'm like, man, this is someone that we definitely can relate to. This is someone that definitely our followers and the people that trust us, the wisdom that we give off every week need to be exposed to, man. So I reached out to Sam. I reached out to our guest, and without a doubt, man, we identified some dates, and she picked the date that worked best for her. We have her here today, man. I'm excited just for all of the things that she's doing on her platform and strengthen the people that's in her market, just for her to be able to share some of that stuff with the realtors that follow us, the entrepreneurs that follow us, and of course the people that we help on a day-to-day basis that are looking to buy, sell, and invest in this industry right now too.
Hey man, thanks so much, man. Without any further
Yeah.
ado, I'd like to introduce this week's guest. As Larry mentioned, she's not only one of the most entertaining business content creators on social media, but she's an educator, a mentor in both the mortgage and real estate space. I'd like to thank her so much for sitting in on the Prime Real Estate Network, and I'd like to introduce to our audience, Miss Samantha Melendez. How are you?
Hey there, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing great, great. Thank you so much for sitting in with us, man. I know how busy Thursdays can be when you're a business owner wearing a couple of hats. So thank you so much. How have you been? What's going on? And how's everything out in Florida?
Everything's good. As you see, my window's open. It is nice and sunny over here. Sunshine State, as you know, we're actually getting a little bit of cold breeze, so I'm enjoying that. At nighttime, we're having a little break from the humidity, but everything's going good so far over here.
You know, for the members of our audience that may have seen some of your reels on Instagram or may follow you on TikTok or may be more familiar with you in the social media space, but haven't had an opportunity to hear you speak on a platform like this and be interviewed, could you just introduce yourself, introduce your company, talk a little bit about how you serve the great residents of the state of Florida, and just in general, what it is that motivates you guys on a daily basis over there?
Yeah, of course. So, as mentioned, my name is Samantha Melendez. I'm a loan officer with Cross Country Mortgage, licensed in all 50 states. I mainly help home buyers attain that home ownership goal, whether you're ready right now or ready in a year. I'm here to help you throughout that entire process. What motivates me is my little crazy toddler. His name is Mateo. I swear, guys, like the minute you have a kid, it's like the motivation is like on 10x. And he is the reason why I have 10x my business, my social media presence, and everything, just because I want to provide him, I want to be an example to him. He's kind of been that motivation for me to not only make more money, but also become a better person.
You know, when I was introducing you, part of your introduction, I introduced you as a mentor and an educator. And I think sometimes, especially for someone like myself, who was introduced to you via your reels and all that kind of thing, is that I've been so impressed since we've been following you that not only do you create content, but you also pass these tips and this education along to real estate agents, mortgage lenders. So, what is it that motivated you to start sharing this experience? And why is it that you feel it's so important to communicate with your audience via that type of platform?
So I first dove in, right, the platform, trying out so many different content. And once I kind of nailed exactly what it is that it takes, right, to get business from it, I felt that it was so important for me to share it with my realtor partners, because when you have this partnership with a lender and realtor, at times it's always the lender asking, hey, give me leads, give me leads, give me leads. And it's like, what value as a loan officer are you providing back to your real estate agents? So social media is something that I decided to really educate myself on. Everything has been through trial and error. And that's kind of my way of providing value back to other people.
You know, sometimes, especially when you're in a business space or a mortgage space or a real estate space, when you're creating content, you want to make sure that you're so education based that sometimes it can be challenging with the entertainment aspect of social media to connect with the audience. How have you been able to balance the two? And what advice would you give to someone who may feel as if I can make great content, but it's not funny or people aren't engaging? What have you found through your experience that helps the audience engage more, especially when you're creating like business content?
Um, my biggest advice is be yourself.
Ah,
Because when you trust, a lot of people will start creating content, they'll change the tone of their voice, they'll change, like, everything. And honestly, when people meet you in real life, they're gonna know that you're like, okay, this social media person is not the same person in real life. And I feel like your content, whether it's educational, entertaining, whatever it is, like mine is educational and entertaining because that's just who I am. I've been like this since I've been a little girl. I like to make jokes, I like to laugh, so I want to make other people laugh. So if you're a person that doesn't like laughing and don't want to make other people laugh, then you might just want to focus on the educational and just be consistent. Because if you're consistent, you're going to attract the right audience, people who are like-minded and are similar to you. So that would be my biggest advice, is just be yourself and don't be afraid. Yesterday I posted a video with a hoodie on. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, sometimes we plan and we never do it or put it into action. Just be yourself and put the content out there. And as long as you're enjoying it and having fun with it, like I say, that, and actually doing the thing, right? Like, that's what really matters. You
No,
getting
that's the
like, people criticize so many other people and they don't even post. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, giving people advice, you don't even post.
No, what's so impressive about your brand is that you educate and you actually put your lessons into practice. So when you're meeting new agents via real estate or new lenders, what is some of the things that they ask you as far as how to get started with their lead generation, their marketing? Like when people are just absolutely brand new, what are some of those like initial questions that you get just regularly?
So the most common question I get asked all the time, regarding specifically Instagram, because that's where my biggest following is at, is how to optimize the profile, how to properly set it up. And my biggest advice is gonna set up your Instagram as a professional page. Not just a professional page, because there's two different types of professional pages that you can have. You can have a business account or you can have a creator account. I highly suggest for you to have it as a creator account, because you're going to have access to all of the music. You're not going to be limited like it is when you have it as a business profile. When you have it as a business profile, music is very limited. And you get a lot of advertisement, like paper advertising and doing all these things. As a creator, I did feel like when I made that switch in my platform, I started to see in my content being pushed out more and have access to all of these trending sounds, which is ideally what helps build your platform.
You know, the cool thing about hosting a show like this with Larry is that we get to meet so many business owners that we get to pull small tidbits or best practices from each person. And one of the things that we found as a common thread is that a lot of business owners have learned to use some of the skills that they developed before they started owning their first business, before they started being an entrepreneur, and have integrated that into how they build their business. So one of the things we like to ask every week of all of our entrepreneurs and business owners like yourself is, what did you do professionally before you were first licensed in either mortgages or real estate? What was the motivating factor that made you think about making that transition? And what was the tipping point or the catalyst that just motivated you to make the plunge?
So professionally, so basically what I was doing right prior to real estate. So I was a server / bartender. At that time, I was already a bartender, but I started in the serving business and then eventually learned how to become a bartender. And I think I was about maybe 21, 22 years old when I started thinking about it. And I remember my pastors when I was in church, I remember that they were in real estate. And I remember because I was at a stage in my life where I was trying to study so many things, cosmetology, but I found that these things were more like hobbies. Like it would annoy me when someone would ask me to do their hair. Like it's something I enjoyed doing, but I wanted to do it
Right.
at my own time when I felt like it.
Right. Right.
So I just went through this journey where it's like, what should I do? And I remember my pastors, I'm like, yo, they used to make a lot of money. I'm like, I think it was real estate. So when I found out what the pay structure was in real estate and how it worked, I was like, it just really dawned on me because I never really had anybody in my family who was business owners, entrepreneurs. So I always had that mindset, like go to school and work.
Mhm.
And that was pretty much it. So once I saw, I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, what I can make in selling one house, I have to bust my booty for an entire month, right? Because I would average maybe $300 a shift. So I would have to pick up a lot of shifts. I would sometimes have to work till 2 o'clock in the morning. Thankfully, I was single, so it was never a reason why to get out of it. But I was just getting tired of it. I'm like, I'm so tired of the late nights and doing all these things. And that's when I decided to get my real estate license. I obviously had to be part-time for a little bit because, guys, real estate is not, I can do this. I get to set my own schedule and do everything on my own. You have to work. You have to put in the work to get those sales. So I was blessed enough to still be able to have that full-time, save enough money, and then dive in full-time in the real estate industry.
So how long did you think about it before you actually either reached out to a real estate school online or picked up the phone and made the call? And is there a specific moment or a specific event that you remember that kind of like empowered you or made you feel confident into saying like, let me stop thinking about this and actually start doing?
Yes. So it was probably about a year that I was thinking about it. And I had one of my best friends, his mom, actually started selling timeshare. And when I started talking to her, she was just telling me about all this money she was making. And I was like, that kind of sounds like something I want. Because me in long term, as a single person, I mainly wanted it so I can travel the world, so I can, buy anything
Right.
I wanted. That was kind of my mentality at the moment. And when she started telling me that, I was like, wow, that could be a true life changer. I'm like, you're telling me that I don't have to go to school and I can make this much amount of money. And that was completely like the time where I was just like, okay, let's do it. I scheduled the class. Right afterwards, I scheduled the state exam, and I've had it ever since.
No, and see, I appreciate you for being so candid and transparent with your story because, like we talked about before we started recording this episode, is that so many of your business partners or so many of your clients, when they meet you in real time, they may not have the opportunity to truly appreciate the evolution that you've gone through from a business perspective, from an experience perspective, to actually be the business person that they're engaging with at the time that you guys actually meet. So that's why I like to give all of our guests an opportunity so that someone who's in our audience that may be working in the service industry, someone that may have just signed up for their real estate class yesterday, hopefully this can serve as a little motivational push to give you that extra oomph to really hit the accelerator and put everything in a fast forward. So I thank you so much for sharing that part of your story.
And if you need any more of a push, I am making over 6 figures, guys. I make more than my sister, who has a master's in psychology. So that should be enough motivation for you.
No, because I thank you so much for sharing. Because one of the things about your story that's inspirational is that you're able to make it through that tough transition between being full time at work and part time in real estate and being able to swing where your business is your priority and you're able to leave that prior job behind. So that's something that I hope when people hear your story that they don't gloss over, because I know that can be a tough transition, full of challenges and tough times. So what were some of the things that helped you make it over that hump? Because that hump just stops and keeps so many people from really achieving their goals and dreams.
What made me accomplish that hump is just the wanting to succeed, right? The seeing all of your high school like friends succeeding in life, and like that was kind of like my motivation of like, I need to do something with my life. I want people to recognize my hard work. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, it wasn't easy. I had to work and save a lot of money, sacrifice a lot of things, because I knew that in the long run it was gonna help me. Because you do have to save money. You need to have, some backup savings in the case that it doesn't work out. But I will tell you, if you are putting the time and effort into real estate, you are going to succeed. Normally, the people who don't succeed and say, oh, that was horrible, is because they never put the time and effort, right? They weren't prospecting. They weren't making phone calls every day. They weren't putting themselves out there as a real estate professional. So anybody who you has ever told you, like, don't do it, like, it's not worth it, or it's too hard, it's somebody who probably didn't give it the proper time and effort that the real estate industry needs.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you had a friend's mom that was in the timeshare industry, and she kind of first introduced you to some of the proceeds that can come from the commissions if you work in this industry and you take care of things the right way. Is there anyone from a true real estate or a mortgage perspective that has served as a mentor or an inspiration for you? Because I know you mentioned earlier that no one in your family might have been a business owner or entrepreneur, but who have you gravitated towards as a professional that served as almost like a beacon for you from that standpoint?
Probably the first broker I ever worked for, her name is Audrey Vargas. I learned so much from her. She had her own property management company, her real estate company, and she also opened up a real estate institution in the process. And she was kind of the one to present to me, like, listen, if you give your all to real estate, like, she's invited me to her home, to, all of the amazing things that she has accomplished. And she's like, this is the lifestyle you can have if you go full time into real estate, which was the biggest reasons when I started working harder, saving more money, was because of her. Like, I would see her success, how much sales, how she was practically building and working hard now for a secure future, right? To have, that retirement, to have, portfolio of real estate, whatever it is. She taught me many, many things, and how you can use real estate to one day retire in the future.
Right. I thank you so much because, like I mentioned to you, is that these type of interviews, the reason that they're so important for Larry and myself is because what we're hoping to do is for everyone in the audience to find a real estate professional that speaks to them, someone that they can look to for motivation, inspiration, someone that they can tap into online for education, that type of thing. So someone like yourself, an expert in lending, an expert in real estate, having you on our show is invaluable. So I want to thank you so much for sitting in with us. Now, I happen to know that you have a very exciting project on the horizon for the beginning part of 2024. So for those in our audience that want to become a part of your movement, that want to tap in with you and become a part of your real estate and mortgage flock, could you please share what exciting news you have coming up on the horizon in 2024?
Yes. So I have done a lot of in-person classes, lunch and learns, all of these amazing things. Because like I mentioned, I love providing value back to my realtor partners. But I was struggling because I was getting pulled from all angles, all types of cities, all types of states, that I decided that 2024, I'm going to focus on webinars. So I'm going to host a series of webinars at least once a week that's going to provide mortgage knowledge information. It will provide real estate, right? How to start an LLC, or if you even should open up an LLC, or why you should open it up, how to file your taxes as a real estate agent, how to navigate your social media platforms, and not just post, but actually lead generate from these different types of social media platforms. Lead generation overall, aside from social media, different types of things that you guys can be doing, just a series of that, just pouring knowledge to the real estate professionals out there and how you guys can grow your business.
Thank you so much. And for those that want to follow you on Instagram, could you just share your social media handles and websites and all your contact info, please?
Of course. So my social media handle is Samantha_home loans. I am constantly providing free content calendars, guides, you name it. So make sure you guys follow me on Instagram.
And to be clear, Miss Samantha Melendez is licensed in all 50 states.
I am licensed
and
in
she
all 50
is
states.
open for all referrals back
Yes,
from Texas to Florida and vice versa. So let's make sure we make her top of mind for all of our mortgage needs. And if we know anybody transitioning to the state of Florida, we'll definitely make sure you're on our first contact out there. So thank you so much for sitting in.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Man, great show. Big, huge shout out to the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks. He's outdone himself again with another great guest. Big, huge shout out to Miss Samantha Melendez and her team out in Orlando, Florida. Look, as we just mentioned, follow her on Instagram at Samantha__ home loans. Tap in. Remember, she has her course coming out 2024. If you want to learn how to right size and organize your real estate or your mortgage business, that is an invaluable resource. So get involved. Let me make sure I give a huge shout out to the team over at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, super producer Jay Joseph. Thank you so much again for all your hard work. And on behalf of myself, Ric Davis, you can follow me at Prime Real Estate Ric on Instagram, and you can follow me at PRN Podcast Ric on X, formerly known as Twitter. So until next Thursday, everyone in the Prime Real Estate Network audience, please be safe and be blessed.